Hey, it's Mark with another virtual real estate video. We are in Upland again, where we spend most of our time, and we have some really exciting news for this video. A couple different things are going on. As you can see, I built another building, so we'll talk about that as well, and give a preview of what I'm going to do now, because I can use my Spark to build another building. And then Upland came out with some really exciting news, as a lot of you know. They released a new city, so we'll talk about that too. And maybe check and see what's happened to Los Angeles since they announced that new city, if things have changed there as well. Of course, I love seeing all the comments, likes, shares. Keep those coming. Love seeing people say they like my channel and think it's good for Upland, so that's been really cool to see lately as well. And I have a real estate investing channel as well, Mark Ferguson Investor More, where we go over all of our real life real estate investing, our flips, rentals, bought a liquor store recently, have all kinds of stuff going on. All right, so as you can see, I popped on this morning and I got a message that construction is ready. So my property in New Orleans, this is one that I think this might be the first property I ever bought. The construction is complete on, I think, a townhouse I built. So you can see right here, there it is, that beautiful property. And again, I had no idea what I was doing when I bought this property. I had just been to New Orleans at a conference for the Bigger Pockets to speak there. And I'm like, New Orleans is cool. Let's go there. I joined Upland and I said, hey, this is kind of close to the French Quarter. Let's build let's buy a property here. And so I did. And it's fun. Oh, let's go back over there. When I first started this game, and if you're just starting or don't know what I'm talking about, I have lots of other videos that kind of go into the details, but you can buy properties that have the same lots as real life. You can buy them in certain neighborhoods, in certain cities across the country. Not every property is available. And then you can build on them. You can collect rent. You can do all kinds of cool stuff with it. But they have collections in each city. And honestly, I didn't even know they had collections when I first started. I kind of like to jump into things and just start doing them instead of researching them in all aspects of my life. So I bought this property down here just because I was literally like looking at maps on Google and be like, oh, this looks close to like the Garden District. The Garden District was cool. I walked through there. Let's buy something. And I didn't even know you could click this little button right here and then see the actual neighborhoods. I just saw the red Garden District there and thought, oh, that's cool. Now it's funny because in the Garden District, I would not have been able to buy any properties because they were all minted out and pretty expensive. So we can see here the cheapest one, $95,000 in this area right here. We're looking, there might be cheaper ones in other areas, but and you can see I bought some down here too. I'm like, oh, I can buy some here, thinking those were in the Garden District too, but I forgot about that whole collection thing, or didn't know about it. So these were the very first properties I bought in Upland. They were FSA properties, which means if you have less than 100,000 UPX net worth, you can buy them. So that's why I bought them, and they're probably pretty good deals. And I didn't even realize what I was doing. I didn't realize you could flip properties. I didn't realize you could get cheap minted properties and sell them for a lot more later on. I was just buying properties because it's fun. So you can see almost all of them are FSA, and I still have them. And then yes, I believe this was the very first one. And we have our townhouse. It's completed now. So there you go. And okay. This is the second property I built. I built one in City Island in the Bronx as well. And so now I have two. And it's tricky. You can't really do anything with these yet. Let's see if we can get some different views of that beauty. But they're cool, and they definitely add value. Looking at other Upland YouTubers' videos and different things, seems like having a townhouse adds about 40,000 UPX, 30 to 40,000. So in that range. And then with my Spark, I have Spark that I can build stuff with. I'll show you here if I can go. Let's see. We'll go to another property. And it takes, we'll see how long it will take. If I were to build on this and do a small townhouse, it would take me 950 hours, and I have a little over one Spark. So if you divide 950 hours divided by 24 hours in a day, it takes about 39 days to build a property if you have one Spark. So if you have more, you can build them faster. If you have less, you build them slower, and then it takes more spark depending on what type of property you build there. So I have more exciting news on where I'm going to build, and that'll be my next video. So if you haven't subscribed yet, it's a good time to do that. I'll let you know what it is. We talked about different nodes, different areas where people are building in one of my most recent videos, and this is related to that, but it might surprise you what I'm doing. So I'll talk about that here soon. All right, the other news that we have for messages, I've gotten a lot of trade offers. I need to review these. Usually none of them are very good, but once in a while one will work. Where are we going here? Is that where we want to go? No. I'm trying to look at the news. Settings, resources, there we go. News and events. So I'm sure a lot of you have heard this already. It's been announced. And we kind of had a heads up on what was happening too, but their new city was announced, Detroit. And I'm going to analyze this a little bit on what they said and give you my opinions on what's going on. So they released the Bronx, went amazing, had a few glitches in the release, but everything sold out, minted right away. You could flip properties, the collections were announced, those seem to go over well. Add value, you could flip properties there. Alameda and Oakland, or Berkeley was announced as an addition to Oakland. Those sold out really fast. You could flip properties, collections were announced. I think people were very disappointed in the collections being announced, but it changed things up a little bit, made people keep on their toes. Still went pretty well. Then Los Angeles was released, and they had so many properties, and they're very, very expensive. There's still tons of properties to mint in LA. So I don't know if that one went over as well. I think Upland's trying to play it off like that's how it was planned. Like, oh, this is what we meant all along. But I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if they estimated how many properties would still be available and how few would be bought because of the price. So we'll see how that all goes. And with Detroit, I'll just kind of read this. The expansion of the Upland metaverse is an ongoing endeavor, and our decisions to release new cities are constantly influenced by the macroeconomic conditions of the Upland economy. Our strategy for city releases generally revolves around two major components: the health and sustainability of the economy, as well as incoming partnerships and activations, which provide opportunities to onboard new Uplanders into the metaverse. The former is constantly under review by the Upland team and is currently the driving force for upcoming city releases, most notably Detroit, Michigan. So the health and sustainability of the economy. Okay. TLDR, I don't know what that means. But Upland's next city is Detroit, Michigan. Overview or second. Oh, this is just what's happening. Macroeconomics conditions. Among other factors, one key element of a healthy Upland's economy is access to affordable properties for new players. While Los Angeles did provide some access to FSA properties, that's a fair start properties that you can buy if you have under $100,000 net worth. For new players, property pricing is still on the higher end, yes, and many of the most affordable properties have already been sold, yes. Beyond LA, FSA properties are few and far between, making it difficult for new players to jump right in and get settled. This limits our ability to onboard new players. Okay, skip along. There are 43,000 FSA properties in LA and Kansas City, with very little inventory of properties under 5,000. Okay, 20 days before all FSA inventory is completely empty. Okay, we'll release Detroit March 3rd, that's this week at 8 a.m., with 70% of properties being reserved under fair start. Detroit is a perfect match for a starter city, giving us affordable pricing while availability of property and cultural significance. So sounds like everything in Detroit is going to be pretty cheap. Guess we'll see. We'll see how cheap they go. But I think they're realizing, hey, LA was not quite as successful as they thought. Let's introduce a cheaper city. Now, they also say, well, Detroit will surely be a huge help to providing accessible inventory. It won't result in relief for the economic conditions of the West and East Coast hubs. Prior to the release of LA, we saw significant secondary market pressure in both the Bay Area and Manhattan, resulting in sky-high markups for properties across the board. The release of LA shows clear trends of relieving some of this pressure on the West Coast. While the release of the Bronx provided some relief in the East, pressure in the Manhattan hub is still maintaining unhealthy levels. I wonder what they mean by that. Like, what is an unhealthy level? Like, in real life, Manhattan and San Francisco are the most expensive properties in the country, or at least, right up there. So it kind of makes sense they'd be the most expensive in Upland as well, because that's where most of the people are, the demand is, the most expensive real estate is. So I guess I don't understand why it's unhealthy that they have high prices. I think that that would be just a condition of supply and demand, and those are both small areas with tons of people, and that's what makes real estate prices sky high. So I don't think expanding more cities is going to take prices down in Manhattan. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe a little bit, but that seems like if they want to reduce the prices in Manhattan, I don't know, that seems like a weird strategy. It seems like that's one of the big draws to the game for a lot of people, is that, hey, I can buy properties, I can mint properties, I can go up in value, I can trade them, I can flip them, and that's a pretty big draw. But if you're trying to bring down the prices of everything, you're kind of hurting everybody already in the game who may have invested in those areas and spent money in those areas, assuming they'll keep going up. Like, I don't know if that's a good strategy to try and bring prices down. I think things were working pretty well before the LA release. Why not just keep trying to do that strategy? But that's just me speaking as kind of an outsider from the real estate world. We saw the housing crash in 2008 where they built tons of properties all over, had crazy lending guidelines, absolutely just insane practices, and it brought everything down. And that wasn't good, right? That didn't work out well for the people who had bought properties, owner occupants, investors alike, the economy. It wasn't good. So I'm not sure if your strategy to bring prices down everywhere is a good strategy, but I guess we'll see. All right. Moving on in here. Chicago, Cleveland, New Orleans, there's still ample inventory among these cities. Yes. Blah, blah, blah. Don't need expansions in those areas. Yes, I agree with all that. So, I don't know. I think they're like San Francisco and LA, or not LA, San Francisco and Manhattan should be very expensive, in my opinion. So I don't know why they're trying to change that. Detroit is currently planned to release on Thursday at 8 a.m. 70% will be FSA. Let's see here. Collections will be 1 week, just like always. No airport, a train terminal, yes. Collections 19. Treasure tier 3. So, fun facts. You can read up fun facts on your own. Detroit terminal sale starting Monday, February 20th at 8 a.m. Players will be able to register for that. Maybe I should do that. I don't know. I don't know if I want to buy a terminal. They're very expensive. And registration details getting to Detroit. I probably need to head to Detroit soon so I don't get there late because I haven't tried that yet. Need to take a train from Chicago, Cleveland, Nashville, or Manhattan. Okay. So I need to travel to one of those cities by plane and then take a train to Detroit here. Although I can't do it yet. You have to wait for the terminals to be up. So I guess there's no rush to get there right now. And release schedule phase 1 will begin by the Fox Creek and Greenfield neighborhoods. 5-minute waiting period, and assuming they'll be releasing all properties after that. Okay, there you go. So there's what's happening in Detroit. I wonder, I haven't even looked at this yet to see if, one cool thing about Upland is it teaches you geography really well, right? Like I knew where stuff was, but I didn't always know exactly how New York was laid out with the different Manhattan and boroughs and different things. And like the Bay Area in Oakland, like I knew where they were, but I didn't know exactly how they were laid out. And like Detroit, I knew it was in Michigan, obviously, but I didn't really know it was like tucked in here in this little area right there. So you learn a lot of stuff in this game. All right, so I doubt they're gonna have like neighborhoods up or anything yet, but yeah, they don't. So we'll see how big it is when they release those neighborhood borders and where everything is. But it'll be interesting. I'm sure a lot of people will be targeting 8 Mile, M&M, the famous part of that. And there should be some other places too, auto factories and stuff that will really be targeted. And then one last thing here. What has that done to Los Angeles prices? So we had a lot of videos about flipping properties in LA and looking at the floor prices in certain collection areas. And whenever they announce a new city, it kind of drops the price of everything because people want to liquidate, get more UPICs so they can mint and buy new properties in the new city. So here we can see, let's see, we'll try and get to, I should be using UpExland. Let's do that. This is upexland.me. Los Angeles, we'll take away that. We'll just do all properties for sale for UPEX 7,400 is the floor now. And I haven't been super paying attention to the floor, but I'm pretty sure that's lower than it was before. And then let's check out some markups here. You can see people are selling right above the mint floor all over the place. So look at that. Lots and lots of cheap properties there to buy if you want them. And that's kind of what happens when you release a city and have a city that had way, I won't say too many, a lot of properties. All right, I want to check some other things. I've been looking at Sherman Oaks for collections, flipping properties there. We still have been selling some properties there. I want to see that floor. Oh, that floor is going up still a little bit. So you can see there's still, that was about 14,000 a couple days ago. Oh, wait, nope, never mind. I'm messing it up. There we go. 14.5. So it's about the same as what it was before. I do have one for sale for 14.9. That's me. There's a bunch of mine for sale for 15.6. That's me. So the floor would have to raise quite a bit for us to get to those, but you know, we might sell some before the sale, but I'm not getting my hopes up there. So, I mean, I kind of wish I would have waited a little bit to release a new city to get through LA a little better, but I don't make the rules. I don't own the game. So it's not my decision. One other thing I want to look at is Ventura. I bought a couple of properties there. I showed it in a video too, for 66 because the floor dropped below 70 and I hadn't seen that for a while. And it was 75 and up for a while, and then now you can see I think the floor is starting to drop again a little bit because people want to sell and be able to buy in Detroit. And here you can see this one. That's the one I bought for 66.5, selling it for that just to kind of hopefully make a little bit of money, but not much because I would like to liquidate too. And here's another one bought for 74, selling for 84. Again, not making much money there, maybe a little bit, but that's kind of what happens when you release a city is prices drop in other areas. Something else I want to check. Let's check San Francisco because that floor dropped to 30 some. I'm doing it this way. Why didn't I just do it this way? We'll do it this way. There we go. 26. So that floor in San Francisco is dropping too. So I mean, maybe if they're, boy, yeah, it seemed like under 30 for San Francisco is so cheap. So maybe they are achieving their goal of dropping the floor in some of these areas. Manhattan, 124. Yeah, that seems really cheap as well too. Last time I looked, I feel like it was over 150. Again, this is very unscientific data, but I guess if they wanted to drop the floor, if they keep releasing new cities, that will do it. But man, that I don't know if that's a good strategy personally. So we'll see kind of what happens there, I guess. And just a sneak peek as well, where I'm building has something to do with this page right here too. All right. So that's Detroit's release. I'll do some more research on Detroit. I'll try and figure out a way to get some more UPEX as well, because I really would like more for the release. And I don't feel like putting more money into the game right now, but maybe I will. We'll see how that goes. I would love to have sold some more of my Detroit city or Los Angeles cities, but that hasn't happened yet. And then here, I'll show you, actually. This is kind of cool. You can look at your own stats on the upxland.me as well. So if I go here and go, there's probably a much easier way to get to my little dude. But I go here, click on my name. It can show my stats, and you can see where my properties are. Again, I started, my first release was the Bronx, Berkeley there, Los Angeles. I'm like, holy crap, I have 116 properties in Los Angeles. I didn't realize I had that many. So would love to sell like 50 of these, but I know that's not going to happen unless I just drop them to stupid prices. So we'll look at everything and figure out what to do. But for right now, that's the plan. We'll have more information on Detroit coming up this week, and my new build I'm going to start here soon as well. So make sure you subscribe, check that out. If you have any comments, questions, love to hear those. We'll be back with more videos coming up here soon.